We're currently a couple weeks away from our estimated last frost date, and the next few months will be a busy season with garden projects and everything else. So I'm continuing to stockpile some freezer meals for future busy days. I decided that this was a great time to work on some sewing projects. I wanted to try to make a small pillow for this chair. Lately, I've been admiring the look of quilted things, and I figured that a small pillow would be a fun way to experiment with this type of sewing. I'm inspired by this picture of a quilt I found on Pinterest recently. I love the combination of small botanical prints and muted checkered patterns. I headed to the fabric store to find something similar. Right away, I was happy to find this green flower print on clearance and thought it would be perfect. In addition, I found a set of fat quarter pieces that would work well with my plan. For another botanical print, I got a yard of this. This will be a small 16 by 16 inch pillow, and I'm using some cotton drop cloth fabric that I already had on hand. For the pillowcase, I wanted to try this pinwheel triangle pattern like in my inspiration picture, but I ended up realizing that doing half square triangles might be a little too complicated for me right now. So for this project, I think I'll just stick to a simple patchwork quilt with 2.5 inch mini charm squares. Everything seemed to be going okay until I started sewing the rows together. Unfortunately, despite my best efforts, many of the corners did not line up correctly. At this point, I considered using the seam ripper to retry sewing the rows together, but I suspect that it's likely my mistakes originated much earlier in the project. Some of the squares I made are possibly not cut accurately, and it's possible that I was not consistent enough with the seam allowances. I could not in good conscience use what I made for a decorative pillowcase, so instead I'll use it to make a little quilted zipper pouch. Since the corners on the squares don't line up anyway, I decided to do quilting in the random wavy line style. The corners of the bag do look a little goofy, but I'm happy that this has turned into something useful. This bag will hold all of our sewing machine accessories. I'll just have to try again to make my quilted pillowcase.